So Goldman Sachs has released their latest outlook, their latest report, just ahead of Union Budget 2024-25. Now here they've said that, look, the budget is likely to focus on jobs, on rural India. They've said they see an emphasis on job creation this budget, and the budget is likely to lay out the path really for future of the public finance in India at large. They've also said that this budget they think will go beyond just fiscal numbers. Goldman Sachs has also said that there's a growing expectation that this budget will see some relaxation in fiscal consolidation and that path. They've said there's a growing expectation that this budget will really pivot towards welfare spending from capital expenditure, from capex at large. They've said budget is likely to make an overarching statement about long-term economic policy of the government towards 2047. So therefore, quite a few highlights there coming out of this report. To decode all of this, we have Sanchita Mukherji, business economist. Sanchita, thank you for your time. Your first thoughts on this report, saying, look, the focus is likely to be on jobs and on rural India.
Thank you so much for having me over today, Sakshi. And yes, very important report. What we have already discussed so far in all of our shows, we can reiterate the fact that I think there is no discussion point, literally, and I'm happy that Goldman Sachs is acknowledging that fact that this government, which has been formed with a coalition mandate, would actually deviate from the path of a transformational budget and get into wholeheartedly, full-fledgedly social and welfare spending. Whilst a lot of these terms are thrown around in terms of what is good for the economy, what is not, the fact remains that throughout the budget, which has focused on infrastructure development, on manufacturing, for example, we have often discussed in our shows, in our generation, we never thought that manufacturing would emerge as strongly as it has post-COVID, because of the focus and policies like Make in India, PLI, which is the production-linked incentives to corporates given, the deleveraging of balance sheets, all of these, and the focus on infrastructure, various roads, ports, Indian Railways, the development, all the heavy lifting which has been done by public capex, it actually is very transformational because all of these numbers have a multiplier effect on the economy. Today, if you see real estate launches and consumption, mortgage numbers at an all-time high. So there's a lot of consumption which is happening. Construction sector, India moving into an export economy from traditional labor-intensive export sectors like agriculture, gems and jewelry, textiles, to more value-added export sectors like electronics, chemicals, specialty chemicals. All of these show that there is a multiplier effect which is coming into the economy, and this budget would continue the heavy lifting in all of these parameters which create the multiplier effect, because that is actually where the job creation will continue to happen. MSMEs, deleveraging of balance sheets, taking into account interest rates for further employment development. Private capex need to come in. Right now, only public capex in terms of the government spending has kicked in. But private sector needs now to do the heavy lifting in terms of opening more factories, catering to the demand. We have a median population of 28 years of age, vis-a-vis China, which is 39 years of age. And, we are expected to have this young consuming working population for many, many decades. So I think all of the efforts in this budget will be geared up for heavy lifting in manufacturing, in infrastructure, in addressing job creation and all of this.
Right. And now, of course, the report also saying that, look, the budget is likely to make an overarching statement about long-term economic policy of the government towards 2047. That is the 100 years of India's independence at large. So your thoughts on the fact that, look, policy is really, job creation really the need of the hour.
Yes, absolutely. Like I said, we have one of the youngest consuming and working population in the world. If you see the median age, it's 28 years, right? This will continue, and holistically so. There will be a lot of focus also on this budget in terms of ensuring the gap which is there between urban and rural divide is addressed, because that is inclusive growth. So there will be a tilt, I think, which Goldman Sachs reports talks about, a tilt towards social welfare spending, but definitely it will not be an all in all statement towards social welfare spending. Rural demand needs to kick in. The fact that monsoons have done well and we are seeing green shoots in the rural economic divide with the urban divide is kicking in. So I think there will be a lot of challenges and issues which the government is tackling in today's date, in terms of which is there in the blueprint for making India a developed country by 2047, what they call the Viksit Bharat paper. These kind of things will be addressed. For example, energy sufficiency. We need to become a very, very energy reliant country. Right now we are still very, very contingent to oil exports, right? So renewables, focusing on green energies, focusing on rural employment, allocation to MNREGAs, further allocation to infrastructures, because please understand, infrastructure projects also attract a lot of heavy duty FDI investments into India. And that also augurs very well from employment perspective, from the forex perspective, all of that. So infrastructure, manufacturing, sectoral allocation, electrification in India, energy sufficiency, all of these will be addressed in the budget.
Right. And lastly, Sanchita, we can't leave you without asking you that, look, many who are watching at home, and you mentioned the youth, you mentioned the average age of the working population in India in times to come. And the fact that, look, those watching at home, those who are seeking a job, those who are looking at the budget and saying, okay, what's in it for me? What am I going to instantly get? What do you think those people should be expecting? We can't leave you without asking you that, because yes, this is a roadmap, this is a vision at large, like you're saying, but your expectations from the near term perspective and from the perspective of those really out there seeking those jobs.
Absolutely. It's a very, very good question that you've asked, Sakshi. I think the government will do very well to focus on further removing all bottlenecks and chinks which pertain to ease of doing business. That is very, very important, because let's understand, all of these sectors, MSMEs and the new age sectors that I just spoke about, chemicals, software services exports, bringing more capabilities to the GCCs, all of that, we need more of the red tape removal policies. We need reforms, labor reforms. We would like to see ease of doing business improving by the drove. Further focus on manufacturing, on startups, on entrepreneurship, on new age industries such as green industries, green finance, clearing up, giving better credit lines to the MSMEs, insolvency and cases having a better turnaround time. So these kind of things will actually help the youth of India explore different alternative careers, new age industries, look at options wherein there is more focus on policy by the government. I mean, one can already see in real estate, there's humongous employment happening in the construction sector and real estate sector. The project launches are at an all-time high. So a lot of employment is happening over there in chemicals and different sectors, including IT, wherein different norms are coming up. Even in spite of the AI scare and all of that, new jobs are being created. So yeah, definitely the youth can look forward to understanding policy initiatives by the government in the different various sectors of the Indian economy. Indian economy is not in one sector, it's across multiple sectors.
All right, thanks very much for sharing your thoughts and for your giving us your insights on this. Thank you.